This movie, Baahubali, is quite literally the most stupid movie on planet Earth. I mean, the VFX on this movie is an absolute joke. I mean, this thing looks like it belongs on the Teletubbies and shouldn't be shown to audiences. But hey, seeing as I don't want to spend too much time on this ridiculous piece of crap, we're just going to go through the movie review for this hideous CGI abomination named Baahubali. Ah yes, Baahubali, the epic tale of war, betrayal, and a man with biceps so large that they deserve their own character arc. This movie is what happens when you give a director unlimited creative freedom, a VFX budget on steroids, and absolutely no regard for the laws of physics. And you know what? It's glorious. It's an absolute masterpiece. And for those who don't know, that is me just being sarcastic because this movie sucks. Now I get the fact that this guy is supposed to save his people and yada 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 yada, as if we don't have enough of this kinds of movie already. But hey, I digress. Back to the story. So let's talk about that scene. Yeah, you know the one. The moment where all logic packed its bags, walked off set, and took an unpaid sabbatical. You know that one. That scene where a bunch of soldiers just happened to come up with the idea of, gee, why don't we just catapult our own soldiers off the enemy's walls using trees moments. Quite genius. I bet even Einstein couldn't have thought about such a genius plan. What a genius strategy. I mean, who cares if a bunch of morons came up with the idea of sneaking through a city's gates with the use of a Trojan horse? I mean, those guys were stupid. They quite literally spent the whole time crammed up in a make-believe horse-shaped gift of death when they could have just been doing this, I guess. I mean, this scene where the Trojan horse strategy, the gold standard of sneaky warfare, gets laughed out of the room by sheer idiocracy. I mean, like, why bother with deception when you could just launch human missiles over enemy walls like medieval Angry Birds? Forget strategy, forget stealth, just weaponize your own troops as airborne projectiles and pray they stick the landing. And somehow, this isn't even the most ridiculous moments in this movie. This is a film where waterfalls serve as gym equipment and statues weigh less than the hero's ego, and an entire army takes a break mid-battle to watch an emotional flashback. Baahubali is what happens when history, mythology, and a fever dream get thrown in a blender and set to insanity. And yet you can't look away, and Prabhas carries the whole thing with the confidence of a man who knows physics is just a suggestion. It's ridiculous, it's excessive, and it's completely unforgettable. And if you want my final verdict on this movie, Baahubali is less of a war film and more of a magic trick, a war crime against simple human decency, aesthetics, and the laws of physics and nature. I mean, for the love of God, there are war movies and there's Baahubali, a movie that takes the laws of physics and nature and history and shreds it into a confetti, sets it on fire, and catapults the ashes over a fortress wall using a tree, because apparently that's how war works now. And for some weird reason, I can't seem to get over this scene. Yeah, you know the one where someone in the war room suggested, hey, what if instead of sneaking soldiers into the city like every strategist in history, we just catapult them over the walls like human rocket ammunition, and instead of being immediately executed for crimes against common sense? Everyone nodded and said genius. But in the defense of this movie, this is a world where the laws of physics exist only as a distant rumor, where men carry 100-foot gold statues like they are grocery bags, where a fully grown man scales a waterfall, like where the only thing bigger than the battles are the gaping plot holes they ride in on. But the real horror about this movie is that it works. The ridiculousness becomes its own kind of spectacle, like watching a train crash in slow motion, except the train is on fire and the passengers seem oblivious while breakdancing in excitement, and at some point someone leaps off while delivering a monologue about destiny. It's beautiful madness, and quite literally it's a work of art. But the crazy part is that if history had gone down like Baahubali, every real life war would have lasted about 15 minutes before one dude decided screw this and started launching their own soldiers like medieval space programs. And who cares about strategy and tactics? Who needs them when you've got vibes and the ability to catapult human beings like they're flying missiles in the air? And why not? Like, oh yes, in that case, hey, someone should tell Elon Musk to forget spending billions on SpaceX rockets. Why not just hire the Baahubali movie crew and their trusty tree catapults? Who needs Falcon Heavy when you've got weapons like tree catapults? Just strap some astronauts to those bad boys, give them a heroic monologue, and watch them break orbits with sheer cinematic nonsense. NASA over here calculating escape velocity while these guys are out here shooting people into the stratosphere with glorified slingshots. And in that case, in all honesty, maybe if NASA had taken some flying lessons from these guys, we might have been able to land men on the moon quite literally earlier than we did. And yes, to hoping that probably this invention might one day take men to Mars, I guess. So with all that